So HIV is a virus, and AIDS is loss of immune system function. So AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So it's an immunodeficiency syndrome. Your immune system is deficient, and you acquire it. You weren't born that way. There are some people who are born with deficient immune systems. That's not you. So the question is, how does a virus lead to this disease, and then why is it so bad, and how can you treat it? So let me start with how the virus causes the disease. How does this happen? The answer is that HIV infected cells eventually die after producing many viruses. So they infect various cells, and the cells do eventually die. Interestingly and importantly, HIV only infects cells that have a protein called CD4, which is not an imaginative name, but that's what they call it, on their surface. These things are called CD4 plus cells. So if you ever hear about someone who has HIV or has AIDS, oftentimes they'll talk about what their CD4 plus cell count is. And CD4 is cells that make this. So not all cells in your body have the gene for CD4. In fact, 2 copies, one from mom, one from dad. But that gene is only transcribed and translated in certain cells. And so those are the cells that will then have that protein on the surface and then will be infected by HIV. And it turns out these cells are some miscellaneous cell. There are several cell types. There's some miscellaneous cells which are not worth worrying about, but the main thing that CD4 is on are what are called helper T cells. So sometimes you hear about somebody's T cell count also. And things called macrophages. And these are essential components of the immune system. So if you guys take immunology, they'll talk about these in much more detail. But helper T cells and macrophages are key parts of your immune system. So basically what the HIV does is it kills those off. There's a number of particularly insidious things about them. It turns out that macrophages are cells which are highly motile. They travel all around your body. Their job is basically to gobble up bacteria, pathogens, gunk like that. So what happens is when one of those gets infected, it then sheds virus all over your body. So it spreads it all over your body as they migrate all around your body. So they're a particularly good target if you want a virus to spread throughout your body. So infecting them is particularly nasty. And so the consequences are that, so as a result, HIV, the virus, is present in blood and some body fluids of infected people, depending on the particular bodily fluid. Therefore, without treatment, several things happen. Number one is that your immune system is disabled. That's what AIDS stands for now. It was first discovered. People had a compromised immune system. So your immune system gets disabled because key cells in it are killed off. The next thing is that you have uncontrolled replication of HIV. That's because now the immune system is unable to fight it. And finally, death, if it's untreated, occurs from what are called opportunistic infections. And the idea is the following. HIV itself does not kill you. To live, you do not actually need an immune system. To live in the germy world that we live in, you need an immune system. But you could, it isn't actually the HIV that kills you. What it does is it weakens your immune system so something else kills you, something that we're fighting off, that all of us in this room are fighting off every day and don't even notice, ends up killing you off. So they're called opportunistic infections because they take out the opportunity they have is your weakened immune system. So these are pathogens, disease-causing organisms, that a normal immune system can fight off. So for example, there's a fungal pneumonia. There's also tuberculosis. So it turns out, and there are a number of others, turns out every day we are all exposed to a whole variety of nasty things, some even really serious nasty things like TB, tuberculosis. But a small number of those bacteria, our immune system is able to take them on, wipe them out. It's not a problem. Right? And so your normal immune system is constantly fighting against this world of organisms that would like to infect you, viruses, bacteria, fungi, all that sort of thing. So you're getting fungal spores in your lungs that could cause pneumonia, but your immune system wipes it out. If your immune system is severely compromised, as people in the end stages of HIV infection are, then those fungi are not defeated by your immune system. They can spread and you get sick, and those are what's actually kill you. So it isn't the virus itself that kills you. It's the fact that you can't fight against other diseases that get you. Questions about that before we talk about some more things? Okay. So the next, pardon? Oh, yeah, sure. Mm-hmm. I couldn't quite hear. So you're saying, are there other diseases that can compromise your immune system? Right. Oh, there are other things that could lead to AIDS. Is that what you're... I don't know of others. The most common way you have compromised immune system is when you're getting cancer chemotherapy. That oftentimes happens. But in terms of other diseases that interfere with your immune system, that actually knock out your immune system, as far as I know, no. But I don't. That's not something I know a lot about. All right. So let me say a couple things. So what makes HIV so dangerous? There are several things. One is it kills your immune system, so you can't fight it. It goes directly after your immune system, so you can't fight it off. Number two, it turns out that reverse transcriptase has a high error rate, which you'd think might be a bad thing. It makes lots of mistakes when it's copying. This leads to many mutations in HIV genome, which you think would be really bad, right? You're messing things up. And the answer is sometimes you are. That is, if you're an AIDS patient, the virus in your body is not all one strain. It's many, many strains, lots of different mutant forms, many of which are duds, some of which are the same as the original one, but some might actually be more virulent. And so because it's always changing because of mutation, so that leads to a constantly changing virus, means it's hard to become immune to it or to make a vaccine. So this involves a tiny little bit of immunology. Basically, the reason you never get the same disease twice, with certain interesting exceptions, you never get the same cold twice. If you get two colds, it's actually two different viruses. Because once your body's seen it once, your immune system recognizes it and can attack it much more vigorously the second time. So the first time you see it, you get sick. Your body remembers it. The next time it comes along, you get infected. Your body wipes it out before you can make it sick. Before it can make you sick. The flu shot is different every year because the flu virus is different every year. You become immune to one strain, there'll be a new strain the next year. What happens if you're an HIV patient is because of this high mutation rate, the virus is always changing. So basically, it's like every few weeks, a new virus comes along and infects you. So once your body is able to finally attack version 1.0 of the virus, version 2.0 has come along by mutation. Now, most of those variants are going to be no good, but there'll be a new variant that can evade your immune system. And so then you're fighting version 2.0. And you're always playing catch-up, because just as soon as you can fight 2.0, it's 3.0, and then 4.0. And so your immune system is tracking a moving target. So that's another reason why HIV is particularly nasty. And the last thing is what I alluded to yesterday, is you're infectious for a long time. And that leads to widespread epidemic. Because at least before there was treatment and before people knew what was going on, or in places where there isn't good HIV prevention, a person can be sexually active for 10 years, be infected and be sexually active for 10 years or more before they get so sick that they can't be sexually active anymore. And so for those 10 years, they're spreading the virus, knowingly or unknowingly. And so it's particularly insidious that way. So